The woman in red, yeah. Have a seat, my love. And the reason why we're doing this interview is really something that God's been really laying on my heart lately. I've been growing in the whole area of listening to God and trying to discern His voice. And it's been really interesting because He's been very clear. I think for this thing, you know how sometimes you wonder, well, God, could you be more clear? And God hasn't been more clear than this. And it really stems from a great desire to see people's lives changed. I mean, there's something that happens when you start coming to a church, isn't there? That you enjoy the worship, you may enjoy the word, and then you come away going, that was good. But then there's a switch that happens. And that switch is, all of a sudden, God says, don't just come for you. Can you come for someone else to be able to serve? And when that happens, the churches change completely. And one area that God's been really touching me on is prayer. And one of the reasons is when I was been praying and saying, God, what would you have for our church? My mind kept on coming back to this whole area of this camp I was speaking at. They get me to speak there for teenagers every 4 years. They put me in a cycle, so they want their teenagers to get a taste of Dave every 4 years. I'm not sure if that's wise, but they do this. And it is the most amazing place I ever speak. I don't get it. Why I show up there and the kids are leaning in and ready.
You thought it was because he was a good speaker.
They're ready to respond, and they respond right away the first night. I'll get kids coming forward. People are getting saved left and right, and people are giving up things to God. And I go, does God show up at this piece of real estate more than anywhere else? So I asked the camp director, I said, why? This is what he said, no kidding. He said, every single day of the whole year, we have assigned people to pray for this week of camp. And then this week of camp, people are praying 24/7. And people have signed up even through 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning, hour slots, to be able to pray for this camp. And he said, we sit back in utter amazement as God does His work. And my heart was jealous for that. I thought, what would it be like if Church on the Rock was like that? If we were a praying church to such a degree, like God was already at work as people were coming in, changing lives, drawing people to Himself, seeing people transform, wouldn't that be even more amazing? I love coming here, but it would be even more amazing. So Helen is our prayer coordinator of our church, and we got talking about, could there be like 6 little principles of prayer, because we have a 6-week series of sort of how to cultivate a prayer life. And so we sort of went back and forth, and we got it down into 6 little phrases. And so for the next 6 weeks, we are going to cultivate your prayer life. I hope you can be open to this, to learn, to grow in it. So, number 1, what is the number 1 thing that we should remember about prayer, Helen?
Pray first.
Pray first. Could everybody say that?
Pray first.
Okay, sounds pretty easy, but what does pray first mean?
Before you grumble, before you talk to someone else, before you get up in the morning, before you text your best friend, before you serve here at church, before you go to school, before you anything, invite God to be a part of it. He wants to be involved. Yes, He's with you all the time, but you need to have your heart engaged with Him and invite Him to work.
I've got this really cool vision of people coming in and sitting down, meeting friends, grabbing a coffee, saying, woo, and all the stuff we do here. But all of a sudden going, praying, okay, God, come speak to me, but not just me. People next around me. And God, come. And could you imagine hundreds of people doing that every Sunday to pray first? Pray first also means something else. It's if somebody's got needs, oh, my life is falling apart, I don't know what to do. What does pray first mean in that situation?
So instead of saying to that person, I'll pray for you, stop, drop, and pray.
Stop, drop whatever else you're doing, and pray. Could you imagine that? I see it already. I do. And I think you got encouragement too. Why don't you tell us about the encouragement this morning?
The words for someone?
Well, the one about the prayer jar thing.
Yeah, that was really cool. I just warmed my heart because we have a prayer jar back there, and I asked some people if they would take one to the boat and pray through the service for that one thing, just so that they're engaged in this ministry in prayer. And as I had asked a couple people, they took it out and said, oh, I've already been praying for that. So that just really warmed my heart.
It's exciting to think that people are coming here to pray. But let's say if we could all do that. What would happen with your family if you could always pray first? So to get us in the mood for this, we're going to do 6 weeks of prayer. So just warning you, next couple weeks, we might actually get you to pray there in your seats. So this is a 1 week warning, all right?
Can this be my turn? No picking the vision team. I just want to randomly pick.
Okay, you go ahead, honey.
Okay. Willie, could you lead us in prayer that our church can become a church that prays first? I'm going to ask one other person to do the same thing. Don't avert your eyes at them. Would you be willing to pray?
All right. Take it away, Willie. You just right where you are.
Sitting.
Yeah.
You can stand.